the Georgia NAACP. I am the co-chair of the Criminal Justice Committee of the NAACP. And we have put forth on the local, the state, and of course the national level legislation and policy that we believe will help stem the tide of these unjustified killings of African-American, unarmed African-American males and Hispanic individuals by law enforcement. First and foremost, we must demand transparency in the system. We've asked the City of Atlanta to pass its new Police Transparency and Accountability Act, which was sponsored by Councilman Kwanzaa Hall, which would mandate in the City of Atlanta 48 hours the release of any body camera or dashboard camera video to add transparency. We've also mandated and asked that Councilman Hall in his 21st Century Police Initiative to put that forward and pass that for the City of Atlanta. Anyone that knows after Ferguson, the President of the United States convened a committee to study the issues of racial injustice and police brutality in these encounters. And they came out with a report in May of 2015, which outlined 6 pillars upon which law enforcement can build trust, can receive training, and can implement new policies. Not one police department across this country has implemented all 6 pillars of the President's plan. We are asking that the City of Atlanta forthright implement that plan to build the trust, to retrain, and to also have public accountability. But most importantly, in the state of Georgia, we have to have an independent body to review the police-involved shootings. Yes, we passed the new grand jury bill, which prevented law enforcement from sitting through every single aspect of the grand jury, but it didn't go far enough. We need independent prosecutors to be assigned these cases, to investigate these cases, and to hold police officers accountable. Myself and Attorney Miley Davis were part of a protest that was historic, 24 hours for justice in the case of Kane Rogers, where we occupied the space of the Fulton County Courthouse for 24 hours to ensure that an indictment was returned in that case. But we just don't want indictments. We want actual convictions and long prison sentences for police officers that kill unarmed Americans, both African American, white American, and ultimately Latino Americans. So that's the kind of legislation that we want, kind of action that we want, and we want the state of Georgia to pass it so we can have swift and immediate action. We need the removal of the sovereign immunity exception in these police-involved shooting cases, so that citizens can hold accountable governments and law enforcement agencies that unjustly kill unarmed African-American citizens, unarmed Asian American citizens, unarmed Latino American citizens, and ultimately unarmed white American citizens. But most importantly, we want to overturn the policy that allows the subjective, reasonable belief of fear to be the standard in police-involved shooting cases. It is ludicrous for someone to be able to claim in their subjective mind that they were in fear. That standard has to be repealed, and we are demanding that it be repealed not only in the City of Atlanta, not only in the state of Georgia, but in the entire United States. That's what's going on in Tulsa. That's what's going on in Charlotte. That's what's going on in New York. That's what's going on in Chicago. And that's what's going on in Atlanta. So this protest is, in fact, an escalation. As we are demanding, we're not asking anymore. We are demanding these immediate policy changes for the African-American citizens of Atlanta, for the African-American citizens of Georgia, and for the African-American citizens of the United States of America. We will not sit by when people are unarmed, are killed, whether they're reading a book, whether they're sitting and waiting on their child, whether they're walking down the street, whether they're just living as normal African-American citizens. So we are going to march, we are going to protest, we are going to occupy spaces until these policies are changed.
Thank you so much, Attorney Griggs.